4 miscreants targeted an ATM in the city, but the smart security guard foiled the bid. Here's more on the story.
ATMs in the city have been in the news for the past 1 year, with miscreants targeting them with alarming frequency. In the past few months, there was a lull, but early this morning, the miscreants were at it again. Sadashiv Nagar, around 1:30 a.m.
After a long gap, miscreants have once again targeted an ATM in the city. We are in 13th Cross, Sadashiv Nagar. This is where an ATM attached to the service branch of Karnataka Bank was targeted last night. Around 1:30, we are told that 4 miscreants who came in an auto tried to attack and tried to get their hands on the cash inside the ATM. 4 miscreants came in. 2 of them were keeping a guard outside the ATM, and 2 others entered the ATM. Meanwhile, this ATM has a security guard. The security guard noticed that 2 men were entering the ATM with rods, so he went inside this battery room that has been made for the logistics of this ATM machine. So he was inside that. He locked the door. He immediately called up the other security guards in a nearby Punjab National Bank ATM and another state bank ATM, and they rushed in. In the meanwhile, these 2 miscreants who entered this ATM turned down that CCTV camera inside the ATM. After that, they started to break open this particular ATM machine over here. They managed to first open this particular door over here, behind which is the secret vault that keeps the cash. They managed to only break this particular door, that's it. They couldn't manage to open the other one, the secret vault. In the meanwhile, these 2 other security guards who were alerted by this security guard over the phone came in from the Punjab National Bank that is across the road, and that's when these 2 miscreants escaped from the spot. Meanwhile, their faces have been caught in the CCTV camera, one over here inside the ATM and the other over here that's outside the ATM. This ATM also has an alarm as well. The police are now trying to get their hands on this particular CCTV footage. There's also an image capturing system inside the ATM machine as well. So the police are hopeful that with all these evidence and with the footage as well as eyewitnesses, they will be able to crack this case very soon.
The bank officials had installed CCTV cameras and an alarm system after guidelines from the city police last year. This helped foil the robbery attempt.
Actually, the security guards who informed the police and informed the nearby guards in other locations, ATM locations. So he went inside and telephoned all those people when he saw something is happening in here. So he was able to wake up those people, and these people also came, and at the same time they contacted phone also. The culprits, I think, became aware and then fled away. Yeah, then again we have the machine itself has pinhole cameras. So that also takes the picture of the person who is standing before the ATM. Then security guard. Then there is a beat. Our security guard agency, so they are having a beat in the night. They come and check whether the security guard is properly working or not. So all these measures we have taken, and in addition, ATM is also grouted and nobody can take away so easily. So there's a protection we have been giving to the ATMs.
The police, who have collected fingerprints and footage from both the CCTV cameras, are hopeful of cracking the case soon. The fact that the miscreants are not sparing ATMs with security guards also is a worrying factor. Harish Upadhyay, News 9, Bengaluru.
BBMP's ignorance towards the irregularities surrounding a company seeking crores of rupees to set up a waste segregation centre has left the opposition fuming. They now allege that the Palike mayor is lying about his follow-up on the company's credibility.
Over a week ago, we brought to you the issue of how a private company by the name MSGP Infratech Private Limited was attempting to cash in on the mounting garbage problem in Bengaluru. MSGP sought 80 crore rupees from the Palike to set up a waste segregation unit in Chigaranahalli at Dodbalapur. The BBMP allegedly lacks even the knowledge of a road leading to the 200 acres of land the company claims to own. Moreover, even the documents provided by them are not credible enough. The opposition in the Palake has raised several questions on the BBMP's apparent ignorance. When the issues surrounding MSGP were brought to their notice, the mayor agreed to personally inspect the area to check for the company's credibility and even invite the opposition to do the same.
ಆ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಬನ್ನಿ ನೀವು ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬನ್ನಿ ದೊಡ್ಡಬಳ್ಳಾಪುರಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಆ ದಿನ ಬರೋಕ್ಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ದಿವಸ ಹೋಗ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದರು. ನೆನ್ನೆನೂ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಗಣೇಶ್ ಕೈಲಿ, ಆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಯಾರು CEO ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಕೈಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಬೇಕಾದರೂ ಬಂದು ನೋಡಿ ಅಂತ ಗಣೇಶ್ಗೂ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು. ಗಣೇಶ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ.
The mayor seems to have hinted that the opposition leaders showed no interest in inspecting the area. But when asked about it, one of the BBMP officials who raised the issue in the first place stated that he had no information of receiving any invite from the mayor's office or anyone else from the Palake.
ನಮಗೂ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಪೂಜ್ಯ ಮಹಾಪೌರ ಕಚೇರಿಯಿಂದ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳ ಕಚೇರಿಯಿಂದ ಆಗಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಈ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಾಲಿಡ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಚೀಫ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಯಾರೂ ಸ್ಥಳ ಪರಿಶೀಲನೆಗೆ ಬನ್ನಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಒಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಚೇರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪತ್ರವೂ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ದೂರವಾಣಿ ಕರೆನೂ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ. ನನ್ನ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕವಾಗೂ ನನಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಯಾರೂ ನನಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ.
When the issue was raised in a council meeting on May 29th, the opposition leaders highlighted how MSGP was the only company to have participated in the tender auction. However, according to the KMC Act, if only one company takes part in the auction, the tender should not be awarded. There seems to be no end to the suspicion surrounding this particular company, which is seeking crores for what seems to be a fabled project. With some of their own members accusing the Palake of inaction and ignorance, the fact still remains that no one raising accusations has done their bit of verifying the land MSGP claims to own. Going by the facts, they are waiting for an official invitation from the mayor himself. When the mayor asked them to join him in a spot inspection, the opposition seems to have ignored since it received no formal invitation. Going by the documents of MSGP, it seems like they're trying to cash in on the appalling garbage issue the city is faced with. Some have stated that if things continue this way, then the taxpayers' money of 80 crore rupees might be laundered and the ones blaming Palake will be just as responsible for it. Pramod, News9, Bengaluru.
The Right to Education Act was introduced to help economically backward families to get free seats in private schools too. But it has turned out to be more of a bane than a boon. Here's a report.
Look at these people. They are standing right before the block educational office. Well, they have gotten their children admitted to many private schools under RTE. That's indeed great news. But there is a problem. Parents allege that their kids are being ill-treated. They also allege that their kids do not get basic facilities other kids get, like free uniforms and textbooks. And when they approach the school authorities seeking answers, it is said that the authorities sought thousands of rupees to give their kids uniforms and textbooks. In fact, earlier too many complaints were lodged with the educational department regarding the same. But parents say they have received no response from them. As per the RTE Act, kids getting admission under the RTE Act should get free education, including uniforms and textbooks. When the parents visited the block education officer, he was absent. Such children who get admissions under RTE should be given free education. The state and central governments have to bear their costs. We have issued a circular in this regard. In case we get complaints from parents in this regard, we will issue a notice to the schools. Well, complaints by parents are definitely not new, but what saddens anyone is how the department is not doing anything concrete to address the issues of these concerned parents. Amrita Patil, News9, Bengaluru.
Indian spices are famous world over, but as an Indian, are you aware of all the spices existing in our country? Looks like the expats in Namma City are more interested in the famous Indian spices and their benefits. Here's a report.
India is famous all over the world, not just because of its sciences, but also because of its spices. Expats from Namma City have shown a keen interest in learning about the various spices India has to offer and the benefits they can reap from it. In European countries, the USA, and many Asian countries like Japan and Philippines, spices are simpler and fewer in varieties compared to the variety of spices that India has. Cedric Carvalho, The executive chef of Food Hall conducted a workshop on Indian herbs and spices to a group of expats in Bengaluru.
From India, the spices that were most in demand were peppercorns and cardamom. Even today, cardamom is the world's third most expensive spice, and a majority of the spices grown in India. You go from one city to another city, there are different cultures. The kind of things that they use for spices over there completely change again and again.
The chef introduced at least 15 of the finest spices that are most common in India and are rare or non-existent in other countries. The expats were also taught how to use these spices in Indian dishes. The expats found it truly fascinating and interesting to see, smell and taste all these Indian spices.
I've been in India for 7 years now. The first time I arrived in India and I saw an Indian kitchen, I was just so amazed. Like there were so much colors and flavors, and I've never seen in my whole life. In my country, we have very simple spices. We only have the pepper, we use the garlic, and that's about it. So I find it opened a whole new world for me when I discovered Indian spices.
It was a great experience not just for the expats but also for the Indians who visited the workshop. Vivek Vinayak for News 9, Bengaluru.